The Warren Warriors came into Week 7 without a win this season. The Warriors are looking to put their past problems behind them and have a better night tonight. It was a great night for football at Warren High School's football field as head coach Tim Carver gave his players some motivational words before taking the field in search for win one. Derek Hess opens up the drive with a 7-yard run bouncing to the outside, bulldozing his way down the field. After a couple more runs from Hess, he sets up the passing game for Jordan Wood. Wood connects with Chase McCool on the far sideline. He goes untouched 45 yards into the end zone. Monarchs are wasting no time as they go up 7-0 early in the game. After another John Marshall touchdown and Warren continuing to go 3 and out, quarterback Ronnie Hill was not giving up yet. Hill lays out for this one and gets the turnover for the Warriors, but unfortunately for Warren, nothing will come of the drive. While Warren was struggling, Hess was heating up, shaking defenders left and right, and no one was in sight. Hess takes this one 54 yards to the house. Monarchs extend their lead 28-0. And towards the end of the first half, John Marshall exploded for 20 points, highlighted by a 64-yard punt return from Chase McCool that led to another touchdown. The Warriors will get 6 in the second half, but it'll be too little too late as John Marshall hands the Warriors their 7th loss of the season. The final, 48-6, John Marshall.
Cameron Kelly is the lone Bobcat heading out to the NCAA tournament this weekend. Kelly has a tough road ahead to become the Bobcats' first All-American since Cody Walters. Walters placed 7th in the tournament back in 2016. Kelly, with the 25-6 record this season, had some momentum coming into the MAC tournament after beating Josh Taro and teching Jahard Simmons. However, after advancing into the semifinals, Kelly dropped a 15-3 major decision to Brian Lantry from Buffalo and had to wrestle back to the 3rd-4th match. Kelly had to medical forfeit to Anthony Tutulo, which led to his 4th place finish, and that did not help him in the NCAA seedings at 133. After being seeded 13th his freshman year and not making it last year, Kelly is going in unseeded and will face Cam Skykora from North Dakota State University in a pigtail match, and if he wins, Kelly will have to go against the 6th seed from Lehigh, Scott Parker. The now 2-time NCAA qualifier has a tough hill to climb if he wants to reach the podium, as he will join 330 of the nation's best wrestlers on March 15th through the 17th in the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. For Ohio Bobcat TV, I'm Connor Mills.
If you're Acosta, you know that in the dual overall that your team's behind, but individually, you hate to think about yourself, but individually you got to do what you got to do.
Right. The main thing that any coach can really ask for you is to go out there and win. You know, if you're really dominating a wrestler, then maybe push the pace, try to get the major decision, try to get a tech fall, and even if you're lucky, get the pin.
And even as an individual, you can still help the team out in that aspect.
Number one and the most important thing overall is just to win. Bonus points will come, but you have to go out there and win the match first.
Well, we've seen a lot of bonus points today, especially for Ohio. And now you started out on top, 3-0. After Kirk Johansson beat Ohio's Trevor Gialombardo. But then Cam Kelly rattled off a win at the 133. Mario Guillen as well got a big victory in the 141, followed by Cade Kowalski and Ohio's Cullen Cummings. And now the Bobcats have Joe Terry out there. He's looking to keep this momentum rolling for the green and white.
Absolutely. He's got to be careful here in the over-under position. Acosta's already trying to throw him a couple times here in the first. Terry has to decide whether he wants to be in that position or not, whether he can get some points out of it.
8 seconds left in the first period. No points thus far. So in between the first and second period, let's see what Joe Terry elects to do.
When it's your choice here in the second period, you really want to try to get the first point scored. That way, if you go into overtime, you have the choice if you go into the ultimate rideout, whether you want to go top, bottom.
One escape, Terry.
Terry got that escape point.
Getting those first points is always crucial.
Of losses in their last duel. Ohio fell to Kent State. Northern Illinois lost up in Ypsilanti to Eastern Michigan.
Kowalski almost with a feat of strength, trying to pull that leg into him. going for the high crotch, but finds himself in a little dangerous position right now.
How about this? What a maneuver by Kowalski.
Kowalski really anticipating that throw. Gets his body low, gets his weight low, and Baker wasn't able to really get any momentum to toss him over to get him to his back.
Now Kowalski will start to build some riding time. One minute, 5 seconds ticking away.
Kowalski with the leg, he's got to really get underneath the head. It's Baker with good defense there. What's really going to make this move really work for Cade, he's got to get under the head and lift the head to then be able to move his whole body over to get some back points.
See him trying to reach for Baker's other leg as well.
Calling on red.
Stalling called on Nolan Baker.
Baker's really not, he's fighting up. He's just fighting trying to not give up any back points, but he's not really doing anything else. Doesn't really seem to be any attempt to try to escape from bottom, and that's what you really have to do.
1 minute and 25 seconds of riding time, and that's trending upward. 5 seconds left in the first period.
Terry escapes 3-2. Excuse me, Bast escapes.
And Terry's really in a bad position right now. All Bast has to do is elevate that leg.
Stalemate.
And that's lucky for Joe Terry for the stalemate. Had Bast elevated that leg, would have been able to turn around and then get the 2. Terry again diving at that leg. He's got the agility. He's going to fight it off for a while, but
2 takedown.
Bast gets the takedown. 5-2 the score, 1:15 to go, third period.
Bast really has proved that he's best in these scramble positions. You know, like I said, he's going to react. If Terry's going to take a shot, he's going to react to that shot and then try to see how he can turn it into points for himself. If it's going to be points off the takedown, or maybe he tries to go for a 4-point throw, who knows?
Terry escapes, he gets 1.
Terry.
What's up, Hardwood Nation? I am Waterford reporter Connor Mills reporting from Waterford. This game was a thriller that went down to the wire, but the Wildcats cannot overcome some missed shots, missed free throws, and in the last 2 minutes, they came up short. The Wildcats struggled making shots this game as they shot 43% inside the arc and 4 from 13 downtown. Waterford also came up short from the free throw line, only cashing in 9 out of 19. Travis Potmeyer led the scoring effort for the Wildcats with 15, while Bryce Hilverding trailed behind with 10, but failed to convert any points inside the paint. However, a bright spot for Hilverding was at the free throw line as he banked in 4 out of 6. Throughout the game, the turnover bug bit Waterford as well, with many of them coming off of bad passes or getting caught for traveling. With all the challenges Waterford faced in the game, they were able to mount a comeback and tied the game at 50 apiece with only 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter. With the pressure now on Southern, the Tornadoes' Trey McNichol shined and drove to the glass and placed Southern above Waterford for the top of the TVC Hawking. Nick, this is what the Lady Wildcats have been waiting all season long for. The Waterford girls took the first step towards making the Final Four for the 4th year in a row with an impressive blowout 81-18 win over Sims Valley. The week started out with tough competition for Waterford as they earned a 62-60 victory at Minford and followed that up with a 45-15 win against Fort Fry. Those 2 games set them up perfectly for their matchup against Sims Valley in the opening round of the tournament. Rachel Adams, Allie Kern, and Megan Ball led the offense for the Lady Wildcats as they throttled the Vikings for 81 points. And just to show you how dominant they've been this whole season, Waterford has averaged 65 points per game while only giving up 27. This team tasted defeat just once, didn't like it, and continued to win ever since December 2nd. The Lady Wildcats have been impressive all season and are showing no signs of slowing down. Welcome back. I'm Connor Mills. The Ohio men's and women's basketball teams took to the court yesterday as they both looked to continue on some early season success. The men's team faced Iona Gales in a high-scoring affair, while the women's matched up against Eastern Kentucky Colonials. The men's team looked for their third straight win last night against Iona in the Convocation Center. Mike Laster led the way for the Bobcats with a game-high 23 points, his third straight game with 20 or more. Gavin Block, Tavion Kirk, and Jordan Dardis also finished with double-digit scores, but unfortunately that would not be enough to overcome the Gales' offense. The Bobcats struggled on the foul line toward the end of the game as they shot 9 for 15 while Iona made all 13 count. That would be the deciding factor in the game as the Gales beat the Bobcats 93-88. While the men were home, the women traveled to Richmond, Kentucky to face the Colonials. After starting out slow in the first half, the Bobcats picked it up in the second, led by junior Dominique Dosick, who had 15 points. In addition to Dosick, Taylor Aguilar, Amani Burke, and Ciara Hooks also scored in double digits. Trailing by 1 going into the second half, the Bobcats scored 27 and dominated the entire fourth quarter. Ohio went on to beat the Colonials 69-57. The women's team is now 4-1 on the season and will face IUPUI on Saturday after the home wrestling match at 11:30. Bobcats will be on the road again, but not before hosting Shawnee State. Hello, I'm Connor Mills, and the Bobcats opened up their home season at an even 3-3 in the MAC. They'll face a Shawnee State team that has had a rough go of it as of late. In history, the Bobcats have faced them twice before. In the most recent matchup last year, Bobcats beat them 9-1. They used 7 different pitchers to 3-hit them in a 9-1 victory. Coming off some dominating performances against NIU over the weekend are Michael Klein and Aaron Levy. The two combined 6 for 9 with 5 RBIs apiece. Klein and Levy, along with first baseman Rudy Rote, are a big reason right now why Ohio ranks second in batting average in the MAC and are leading in home runs. Not only have they been getting the job done at the plate, they've been on the mound as well. Eddie Cutt has been one of the best arms in the MAC, and as a whole, the Bobcat pitching staff owns a 4.07 ERA, best for third in the conference. On the other side of the ball, Shawnee State is 2 wins away from matching their win total of 14 last season, with a lot more baseball to play. Shawnee right now is sitting at the basement of the NAIA Mid-South Conference and have a couple bright spots to look forward to. Freshman Seth Clement is leading the team in batting average at .380, and fellow freshman Kyle Winooski is leading the team in ERA and strikeouts with 26 and 28 2/3 innings pitched. Starting pitchers have yet to be determined for the Bobcats, but some probables are Nick Kamrata and Cole Shinsky. First pitch is set to be thrown at 6 p.m. Brad Walker and I will have the call for you on Bobcat TV livestream. For Ohio Bobcat TV, I'm Connor Mills.
Again, welcome back into the broadcast. Cole Shinsky on the mound for Ohio. He will face Christian Helton he is the leadoff batter for Shawnee State. And the lineup for Shawnee State: Christian Helton leading off, Seth Clement batting second, JT Boggs third, cleanup hitter Levy Jones batting fifth, Chase Thurberg batting sixth, Sam Gerhold seventh, Casey Claflin batting eighth, Alex Medina, and batting ninth is Blake Marshall. And once again, the starting pitcher is Brady Nettle. Bobcats come into this game at an even 15-15, 4-5 in the MAC, while Shawnee State is 12-19.
Connor, today the Bobcats looking to improve to 2-2 in midweek play as they dropped a midweek game last night to Ohio State to go down 1-2 now in 3 games in midweek.
First pitch in there, called strike. Ground ball over to third base. Fires over to first. Wild throw. It gets away. Christian Helton moves over to second base on the throwing error by third baseman Tony Giannini. And Brad, that is a MAC leading 45th error.
Yeah, definitely an unforced error the Bobcats do not want to start this game off with, especially with their pitching not being really up to par of late. They're really relying on their bats this season. You just don't want to start out with something as silly like that.
And the first pitch to Seth Clement is fouled back. Seth Clement is a talented freshman for the Bears. At one point this season, he was leading the team in batting average, but now that is Levy Jones. Count even at 1-1. Clement fouls this one off. First base side, that goes out of play. Counts now at 1-2.
Clement, the freshman, a speedster, 6 of 7 on stolen bases and stolen bases attempted this year. This Bears team is stolen a lot of bases this year. I like to be speedy on the base path.
Well, when you haven't been winning as much as they'd like, they have to find ways and manufacture some runs. That last pitch from Shinsky evens count at 2-2 for Clement. Fouled straight back at the net. Clement stays alive.
Way to protect there from Clement. Pitch on the outside. Questionable strike, but Clement, knowing he can't take for possible strike 3, went ahead and threw the barrel of the bat out there and fouled it off.
Shinsky from the set. And another foul ball. 3 fouls so far for Clement. Count remains at 2-2.
You know, interesting for the Bears, Connor. They showed up to this game about 40 minutes ago, around 5:20 on the field. So, late arrival for the Bears. I wonder if that'll have any effect on their play today.
Well, starting off right for them. Shinsky gets the curveball in there. Swing and a miss. 1 down.